Good morning, love, it's Demi here, and today it is the first day of March, which means it's practically spring. So that means that today I'm going to be sowing most of our crops for this season. If you've been following my channel so far, you know that I kind of already got started for this year. We are currently already growing onions and we are growing 2 types of beans. And we are also already growing garlic, but that was from last year's November. But today I'm going to be focusing on a lot of other different kind of crops. On this channel, I'm kind of showcasing our road to self-sufficiency. We have a dream of being as self-sufficient as we can. And when I say we, I mean me and my boyfriend Max. We are a young couple and we are just fresh out of college, so we still have a lot of opportunities ahead of us. On this channel, I mainly focus on our animals and our food garden. We have chickens, we have bunnies, we have 4 cats in the house right now. We have turtles, and I'm also currently breeding shrimp for aquaria. So if that's the kind of content you're interested in, please consider subscribing. I'm still a very small creator. We recently just hit 500 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for. But this year I'm really trying to grow out the channel a little bit and try to build a little bit more of a community. So we can share tips and tricks and stuff together. You can see I have all the stuff I'm going to be using today behind me. I'm just going to be using a store-bought seeding soil. I have 2 trays that I'm going to be using to put our seedlings in. And these are the crops that I'm going to be working with today. I have 3 types of carrots that I'm going to be sowing outside today. So these we are not going to use just yet. I have beets, I have lettuce, 2 types of kale here. It's a purple variety and a green variety, which I thought was fun, so that's what we're doing today. I have hot peppers, I have paprika, rosemary. I really want to try Brussels sprouts this year just because I haven't succeeded in them yet. And we have cauliflower right here. I also really wanted to do tomatoes this year again, and I will probably. But I haven't had the chance to run to the store yet and grab some seeds. I probably will do that in 2 weeks or something. These are the trays we are going to be using. I counted out the seeds, and if we combine the 2 colors kill, then we can have 1 row of every crop. But first I'm going to fill them up with soil so we can actually plant stuff in them. So what I want to do is I want to have a crop for every row. So this is the order I'm going to be sowing in. Like I said, we are mixing these, and that's just because it's the same crop but in different colors. So I don't want to do 1 row for each of them because then I'll just end up with way too many plants. Now if you've seen any of my other videos on me sowing seeds, then you know that I like to use chopsticks. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to start on this side, which is easier for me. I just grabbed the thicker side of my chopstick and I'm just pushing in a hole about halfway through the soil. And I'm going to be doing that for every single one. So starting with the beets, this is what beet seeds look like. It's like tiny little flowers. I'm going to be putting 1 seed in every single hole. And then I'm just putting back all the seeds that I didn't use, because we can still use them in a year or so. And I'm going to put them back because I need to remember which crops I planted in this tray. Then I'm just grabbing my chopstick again and I'm going to be closing every single hole. Just like that. So now this row is complete and we can move on to the next one. And the next one is going to be lettuce. And lettuce you can sow a little bit closer together so you can separate them out once they're bigger. So I'm going to be putting multiple seeds in every hole for this one. I'm thinking about 4 or 5 in every hole. And then I'm just going to be closing them up again. So that's that. Moving on to the 3rd row, that will be our kale. And with these I'm just going to sow 2, maybe 3 in every hole, just to assure that every little cup actually grows something. So I'm going to be starting off with our purple variety over here. And these are like black little balls. And I'm just putting 2 in every single hole. Now moving on to our green variety, I'm going to do the same in the same holes. I thought about dividing it up, But once they've grown, you can tell which ones are the green ones and which ones are the purple ones. So then I'll just divide based on what I want to keep or not. So I'm putting purple and green in the same holes. And then once they've grown, I'm just gonna pick out the nicest looking ones. Moving on to Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are my absolute favorite vegetable to eat. I just haven't succeeded in growing them myself yet. So I hope this year is going to be that year. First I'm going to close up this row just to make sure I won't put anything in there again. And for the Brussels sprouts, I'm also putting 2 in every hole, just to ensure that I'm actually growing stuff out of these cups. Because some seeds will come up and some of them won't, so I'll probably end up with less that I'm sowing, which is fine. You know, you can't have everything. So that's that, and I'm now going to be closing up this row too, and then we are going to move on to the next tray. But before I move on, I'm going to be marking up this tray with our sticky notes. I'm just going to rip off the side with the adhesive. I'm going to be cleaning off one side where I'm going to stick the sticky notes on. And then I'm just going to stick a piece of paper on every part that we've planted on each row. And then I will be writing on them what we've planted, so I won't forget. So this was beets, this one was lettuce, then we had kale, and we have Brussels sprouts. And this way I won't forget which plants is which, so then I can keep track of them a little bit better. So now that they're all marked, I can clean up all the seedling packages off the table. And then we're just gonna do the same things for our cauliflower, rosemary, paprika and our hot peppers. So I'm going to poke a hole in every single one. First one is going to be cauliflower. And again, I'm going to be placing 2 seeds in every single hole. Next up we have rosemary. Moving on to peppers, bell peppers. Again, 2 in every hole, just like our rosemary and cauliflower. And then last but not least, our hot peppers. We call them cayenne peppers here in the Netherlands. There, and I am going to mark them off, and then that will be it for our trays. So cauliflower, rosemary, we have paprika or bell peppers, and we have hot peppers or cayenne peppers. So that's it for our 2 trays. I'm going to be placing them in our hallway so that the cats won't get to them, and I'm going to place them next to a window so they have a lot of natural daylight. The soil that I used was quite moist, so I'm not going to water them just yet. I think I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I also really wanted to do these. These are pumpkins and the seeds of them are from the Eden Project in England. My father went there on vacation and he got some seeds for me, which is pretty nice. I also have a lot of different other seeds from them that I really want to try out. I currently do have these 2 bean types growing, so I'm excited to see how they will turn out. But I also still have sweet corn, squash, 2 types of squash and artichoke. So maybe soon in a future video I'm going to be planting these too. So again, I'm just poking a hole, sticking a seed in and then covering it up. And I'm just doing 1 in each because pumpkin seeds are quite big. And also they grow roots very quickly. And when you have them bunched together like that, they tend to get tangled in each other's roots. So I'm just doing 1 each. So I'm going to be placing everything in my hallway right now, and then we are moving outside to plant our different kinds of carrots. I am going to voice over this part of the video just because I don't want to be talking outside in my backyard. I had 3 types of carrots that I could use, and I ended up not using the colored ones. In my garden bed I ended up sowing the normal carrots. You can see me here just breaking up the top layer of dirt. And then I dug 3 little trenches. I could have done more, but it was also just a little test to see if anything would come up at the beginning of spring, of course. After digging the trenches I just put in the seeds, and I was very generous. I personally like to thin out my carrots. I rather do that than end up with 2 little carrots. This way I can just pull out the ones that are too many. And if I'm really careful, I could always move them. You can really hear the chickens in the background. Lately they're in their little pen just because I want the grass to grow again, and that's not gonna happen if they keep eating it. To separate the carrots from our onions, I'm just laying down a little line of stones. These stones we had left over, we used them for drainage in our garden. I also did this on the other side so I would know where the carrot stopped. So if I want to plant anything on the other side, I know where to start. Also at this point I just covered up the trenches. And I'm also not going to water these, just because it's going to rain in the next 2 hours. You can see me here finishing off with the second line of stones. And after that I turned my attention to the left hand side because there we have another garden bed that I wanted to place carrots in. So again I just fluffed up the dirt on the top layer and I'm going to be using the baby carrots in this bed. I thought this was perfect because this garden bed is not as high as my raised garden bed. So it was perfect for these little tiny carrots. Last year I had spinach in these and I think this year I'm going to put my lettuce in here. And just like in our big raised garden bed, I just dug trenches. I put 2 this time. I sowed some carrots and then I covered them up. And with that done, I just headed back inside because there's nothing else for me to do out here. So that includes everything I wanted to sow for today. Now it's just a waiting game, of course. Once I have updates, I will of course share those. Now if you like this video or you just want to catch up on our road to self-sufficiency, then please consider subscribing because it really helps out my channel. And then you also get notified when I upload new videos. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye!